Across the desert of southern Peru, enormous drawings stretch farther than the eye can follow. Some form birds, spiders, monkeys, plants, and strange human figures.
Others are straight lines extending across the plain for several kilometers.
Triangles, trapezoids, spirals, and parallel tracks cover the empty landscape. The design survived because this desert receives little rain and experiences limited erosion. From the ground, many appear only as shallow paths through scattered stones.
From higher ground, their shapes become clearer, even without an aircraft.
Modern aircraft and satellites revealed the true scale of the entire network. Together, the geoglyphs transform hundreds of square kilometers into a constructed landscape. But why did ancient communities invest so much effort drawing upon empty ground? The geoglyphs were created by communities living along Peru's dry southern river valleys.
The tradition began before the height of the culture, now called Nazca.
Early figures often appeared on hillsides, where people could view them from valleys below. Later creators increasingly used the broad, flat desert plains between river systems. These communities farmed maize, beans, cotton, and other crops where water was available. They produced complex textiles, painted pottery, and elaborate religious imagery. Many animals shown in the desert also appeared on their ceramics and textiles. This connects the lines to a wider system of beliefs, rather than isolated decoration. The desert was not empty to its builders. It was culturally and spiritually meaningful.
Each generation may have added new routes, symbols, and gathering places.
Creating a line required no unknown technology and no view from the sky.
Workers removed the dark stones that covered the lighter ground beneath them.
The contrast created a pale mark visible across the reddish-brown plain. Most lines were only shallow clearings, not deep trenches or carved canals. Wooden stakes and cords could define long, remarkably straight routes. A distant marker allowed builders to maintain direction across the flat plateau. Curves could be formed by rotating a cord around a fixed central point. Small drawings could be enlarged using measured reference points across a grid.
Teams could check proportions from nearby slopes and raised ground.
The challenge was not impossibility, but organization, accuracy, and repeated communal labor. One famous theory argues that the lines formed a vast astronomical calendar. Certain lines appear aligned with solar events or positions on the horizon.
But thousands of lines point in many different directions.
With so many orientations, some astronomical matches can occur by chance. Animal figures also resist interpretation as a single practical calendar.
Astronomy may have influenced selected places without explaining the entire network.
Celestial observation and ritual were not necessarily separate activities in Nazca society. The mistake is expecting every line to serve exactly the same purpose. A landscape built across centuries could contain changing and overlapping meanings. The sky may be part of the story, but it is unlikely to be the whole story. In this desert, water was not ordinary. It determined whether communities survived. Some researchers found relationships between geoglyphs, valleys, mountains, and underground water. Yet the lines are not simply a precise map of every hidden aquifer. Water may instead have carried ceremonial, political, and symbolic importance. Some long lines may have functioned as routes for processions and pilgrimage. Repeated walking could transform a geometric figure into a place of shared ritual action.
Broken pottery and offerings found near some geoglyphs support ceremonial interpretations.
Cahuachi provided a major ceremonial center within the wider Nazca region. Pilgrims may have traveled between settlements, geoglyphs, water places, and ceremonial centers.
The lines may have organized movement through a sacred landscape, rather than delivering one written message.
The animal figures probably carried meanings familiar to their creators, but difficult for us to recover. Birds, monkeys, whales, and serpents also appeared throughout ancient Andean visual culture. Some represented distant environments beyond the immediate desert.
Their presence may have connected desert communities to rain, fertility, ancestry, or supernatural beings. But assigning one fixed meaning to each creature goes beyond the surviving evidence.
The Nazca landscape is still revealing figures that researchers had never documented.
Artificial intelligence now helps identify subtle patterns across enormous collections of aerial imagery.
Archaeologists must still visit each location and confirm that the marks are ancient.
These discoveries suggest different figures served different groups, routes, and forms of activity. The Nazca lines were not messages for aliens, but human marks transforming desert into memory.